welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something I'm very excited about because I am dedicating this entire video to a book I loved, and if there's one thing I love almost as much as doing rant videos, it's doing rave videos. You know, it doesn't happen as frequently somehow because I really need to love a book to love a book, if that makes any sense. I don't think so. I didn't think that through. Anyway, you guys, today I am talking about the one, the only, the incredible Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I am sure you guys have heard people talk about this book for quite a while on BookTube. The buzz is just starting, I think, because I think this book just came out recently, so the obsession is real, the hype is real. And usually I'm very apprehensive of hyped books, and especially overhyped books, because usually they build up my expectations so high that I kind of almost can't help but be disappointed, and it happens more often than it doesn't. And so I've just kind of tried to steer clear of hyped books in the last few weeks, months, years, I don't know. But I had to check this one out because it's by Laini Taylor, and I adored the Daughter Smoke and Bone trilogy. I thought it was so fantastic. I love her style of writing. She just has such a way with words, and you know, sometimes I sit and I think maybe I should write my own book just because I read so much. But then a book like this comes along and I just cannot help but feel like I would never in a million years be able to write like that, and if I can't write like that, I don't want to write at all, basically. That is, you know, what it boils down to. So before reading this, I didn't know a lot about this because the synopsis I'd heard and read were very weird and confusing, and honestly I think it is best to go into this not knowing too much about it because it just preserves so much of the experience and it makes it so much better going into it and experiencing everything firsthand. You don't know anything really, and so I'm just going to give you a very brief synopsis of what this book is about, just so you know what I'm talking about. There won't be any spoilers in this video, and I'm just gonna jump into it. This book is basically centered around the main character of Laszlo Strange, and he's called sometimes the Dreamer, so that's why the book is called Strange the Dreamer. And basically he was an orphan who was raised by monks, and one day when he was like 12 years old, he went to a library and never left it because he was so enthralled and amazed by all of the books there, and he's a huge book lover and a bookworm, which that already is something that I can heartily relate to, and I think many of you can also relate to. And like, he's always teased by the older librarians there, like, oh, you should go and find a girl instead and not like have your nose in the book all the time and stuff like that. Like, I don't need to go out and find a boy anymore, but still, if I were single, I probably would continue to be because of books, okay? Laszlo is obsessed with stories about the city of Weep that he has been told of from a monk at the monastery that he was at, and is a very mysterious city. No outsiders have ever been there. They only used to get like caravans and envoys from there that would cross the vast desert that lies between this kingdom that he is in, or the city that he is in, and this city of Weep. And about 20 years ago, these caravans have stopped arriving, and since no one can go there, the city has just basically disappeared off of everyone's radar except for Laszlo, because he's just really obsessed with it. The city is actually not even called Weep. It had a different name, but at some point in his childhood, when Laszlo was just very young, he stopped remembering it, and so did everybody else. And the name that came to their minds when they would think of it was just Weep. And so he starts also calling it the Unseen City because he thinks it has a better, more positive connotation than Weep. Obviously, it kind of has a very sad connotation, and that makes him think that maybe something happened to it. And also, since obviously the name was changed, he thinks that that is magic. Magic isn't something that is perceived to be real in this world, but Laszlo is convinced that it exists, and he's hoping to see it again one day and to experience it again. And one day, to the great surprise of everyone, an envoy does appear from Weep again, and that envoy is led by the God Slayer, and no one really knows why he's called the God Slayer. What are those gods that he has slain? And it turns out that Weep has a problem that they need help with from outsiders, so it's the first time that they're ever gonna allow people from outside the city to come in, and Laszlo gets to go with them, and he gets to see the city for himself, and things unravel. They start trying to solve the problem that has befallen this city, and it is amazing. This book is everything, I swear. This book has 530 pages, and still I read it in a single day. I think I took one break to eat, and then I was straight back at it, and I read till 5 in the morning. I didn't care. I just needed to finish this book. And it still feels surreal to me that I did, because I read for so long. I was so immersed in the story for like such an extended period of time. Laini Taylor does not disappoint in terms of the writing. It is magical. I don't know how she does it. She puts words in such a way that they're just magnificent. I can't even describe it. There are no words to describe her style of writing, but it is everything, I swear. I also love the character of Laszlo Strange, not only because of his obsession with books, but also because he has such a very interesting like persona, I think, and he like looks kind of not very handsome and kind of gruff and like burly and stuff like that, but inside he is very kind and he's very soft and sweetheart, and that is just amazing. And I love how he like doggedly he pursues knowledge of the city of Weep. He like actually collects all of the knowledge he finds, and he writes his own books about them as like collective places to store this knowledge. And he even goes far as to learning the language, even though the likelihood of him ever getting to go to Weep are like basically zero. He still pours his heart and soul into this research, and just because he's so fascinated with it, and it is amazing. I think he's a very good example of someone who is very culturally sensitive and very like willing to adapt to different cultures and to learn about different cultures, and I just appreciate that quality in real human beings as well as in characters in a book. Actually, the characters in general are a big part of what I love about this book. I don't want to say more than what I said in the synopsis, so I can't really say which characters and who they really are. It just would kind of ruin everything, I think. As I say, it's best to go in blind, but I do love kind of all of them. I love that they have individual, unique personalities, that there are no real villains, actually. Like, if you were to ask me what the villain of the story is, I couldn't quite tell you, because there are some people that have like negative personality traits and that have like villainous traits to them in a way, but for all of them really you do learn the motivation for why they're doing what they're doing. They all have like things that happen to them in their past that put them under a lot of pressure and that put them under a lot of strain. They don't necessarily justify their actions, but they definitely in a way make you see why they do what they're doing, and that is definitely something I really love about villains. I don't just want someone who's evil, full stop. I want someone who has like a personality and reasons for their actions, and just a well-rounded personality all around. I love that the story overall had a kind of distinct conclusion in a way. So problems that came up were solved in a way, but also a lot of new questions were left unanswered and came up, and that's the kind of first book that I really like, that has its own conclusion that sort of just like ends the first part of it, but then leaves so much room for more exploration. The ending of this was somewhat not satisfying because of a certain event that happened. Again, I can't talk about it more than that, but it just close some doors that I don't know if they can be reopened, and even if they can to a certain extent, I don't know if this is how I want this whole thing to play out. If you've read the book, you probably know what I'm talking about. It also changed the game in a huge sense, and I don't know how that's going to be resolved. But yeah, all around, I'm super excited for the sequel. I can't wait until it comes out. I hope we don't have to wait more than a year, because that already seems like a way too long, and I'm already hurting from withdrawal from this book. So I am 100 million thousand, that's not a word, percent, recommend this book to everyone, especially if you loved her previous works. This one does not let go of you at all. It kind of just grips you and draws you in and doesn't let go, and the writing is just the best thing in the world. And can we just, oh my god, I haven't even talked about it yet, how beautiful this edition is. You know what I said in a previous video, that I thought the American edition is better? Take it back. This one is gorgeous. I cannot, can you see the gold moth that is on the cover? It is actually like a little bit raised, and then you have these golden letters that are just beautiful, and then the spine, and then the pages are all blue, and also the front page has like a stamp of her autograph. So I'm just, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Real quick before I end the video, I do want to talk about a few spoiler things, so if you haven't read this book yet, please leave and come back very soon for another one of my videos. It was lovely to have had you, but don't spoil yourself with this beautiful book because you will regret it for the rest of your life. Spoilers, 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 click out of this video, press the little X, and watch another video of mine maybe if you want to, but don't watch this one anymore because I'm gonna talk about spoilers, and I think now you've been decently warned enough. Like, what else can I say except spoilers, okay? So I just wanted to quickly talk about the ending because obviously the fact that Sarai, is that how you pronounce her name? I'm gonna call her Sarai because I don't know, is dead is very disappointing. As I said earlier, the setup for it, meaning the like tilting of the statue, and you know somebody's fallen down from basically page 1 because that's the prologue. You don't know who though. And I was thinking, and it does say in the prologue, I did go back and read it like just before the scene because I was like, oh wait, the moths and things, like that's a thing. Like it does say like she has plums in her pocket and there are moths like nipping at her hair or something, and I was hoping while the like suspense was still building as to who it was that had fallen, I was half hoping it was her and half it wasn't. And my like justification for why I thought it should have been her is because it would have been kind of cheap way to kind of cause drama and cause like tension with the reader, just to be like, oh, it's not her. The moths were like somebody else, like were hers obviously, but they like flew down to save Minya, is that her name? I kind of wanted it to be Minya, but then she was in the heart at the time, so it couldn't have happened. Couldn't have been her. But anyway, I wanted it to be anybody else. But it was like, okay, maybe, they were in the plum garden. They could have picked plums as well. It didn't just have to be her. But then I also thought it had to be her. It had the most impact this way, and it made the most sense story-wise. So, yeah, I don't like the fact that she's dead now. I hate the fact that Minya now has control over Laszlo and her, and that she can basically make her say and do whatever she wants. And that is just extremely creepy and leaves a bad taste in my mouth to even think about. And I also just flat out hate the fact that she's a ghost now. Like, they had... Like, especially with Laszlo being God's spawn as well, like, they had the perfect future in front of them, and then she just dies, and it's so sad. It's seriously, like, why do you need to kill her? I mean, sure, you can kill a character, like, a main character too, like, some point down the line, maybe after you've given them a little bit of happiness, but they hadn't even touched yet physically. Like, it is so sad. He just touches her for the first time and it's her corpse, and oh my god, if I hadn't been so tired, I probably would have cried my eyes out at that point, because no, why do you need to do that? It's so sad. Oh my god. And now that this decision has been made, I don't know how they could remedy it, because sure, he can be together with a ghost, but she's still a freaking ghost, and that is very unfulfilling in a lot of ways, I guess. She's also gonna be always under Minya's control, because if Minya dies, she goes too, so there's no way of saving her. And then if they do invent like a way where maybe she can come back from the dead, I don't like that plot device either. It's been overused in so many other books, and it kind of just renders the act of dying so meaningless if just anybody can come back whenever they please. So, I don't even know. I feel like this whole thing has been ruined, because for me it can't be salvaged in a way that I would find satisfying and appealing. And that is not a good thing to think about. There might still be other ways for this whole thing to resolve in a way that I would like. I just can't think of any, so that makes me very sad. Errol Fane, I also cannot really buy into the fact that he is supposed to be kind of not over it, but like, okay, I get his overall story. So that felt like he had to kill babies, and so he did it, and he thought he had also killed his daughter, and that like caused him a lot of pain. Then he finds out that she is still alive, and that causes him pain and also pleasure at the same time. And then he finds out that Laszlo is also Godspawn, and he knows that he's a good person, and then he just changes his mind on all blue beings. Really? I don't think that is how it works. Like, if your people and you yourself have been tormented by this group of people for so long, and you have enough hatred for them to kill their babies, even your own child among them, I don't think that just after like 20 years have passed, you're like, okay, fine, I'm over it now. Like, I'm prepared, so easily prepared to like forgive you as a race and to overcome this racism. It is racism, and to just overcome that so easily. I just don't buy into this. And obviously it's undeserved for him to be punishing the children for the parents' actions. I just think that it's a very human reaction, and that is very human of him to have done it, even though it is obviously something extremely horrible. It does make sense. So I think those are all of my thoughts on this book. It killed me. It like made me feel all of the feels, and it is so fantastic. I don't know why I ever thought I wouldn't like this book, because Laini Taylor is a magnificent author. She's a genius, and I love this book so much. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So that is it for today's video. I'm pretty sure it ran fairly long because I had so much to say about it, and it was all praise. I don't think there was a single thing I disliked except for the few parts at the end that I just mentioned. But yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below, again, no spoilers please, what you thought of this book yourself, if there was anything that I missed to mention. And thank you so much for watching. Please like this video and click the subscribe button for more videos coming soon. I post every Tuesday and Friday, and most of them are book related videos, so stay tuned for that. Also follow me on social media at IvyMuse with 2 E's on everything basically, if you want more updates for in between those dates. Thank you so much you guys. I'm gonna see you soon. Have a lovely week. Bye!